Hi guys, it's me again, Sotonye Diri, here to share some tips with you to help you to live a successful life and to become the person that you desire to be. Now, a lot of the things that I talk about is to do with breaking through your excuses, overcoming your barriers to success, and designing a life that you want to live. So today, I'm going to share with you my 10 tips for success. I'm going to break the tips up and I'm going to break them up into 10 videos as well. So they're very short, to the point tips that you can listen to as often as you need to, so that you can take those 10 tips, turn them into habits, and then turn them into disciplines. It takes 21 days in order to turn a tip, a nugget, something that you want to do into a habit. So I want to challenge you guys, after you hear these 10 tips, take at least one of them, do it for 21 days and see if your life doesn't change, but guaranteed it will. Okay, so the first tip I want to share with you is, first and foremost, in order to be successful, you must have a goal, okay? So the obvious goal is, I want to be successful, that's great. But then you need to break that down into, how do you want to be successful? What is the goal? What is the thing that you need to do in order to achieve that success? What is the journey that you need to go on in order to see that desired outcome come to pass? So if I was just to wake up and start walking, I would end up anywhere. And I couldn't be surprised if I ended up anywhere, because I never had a goal. I never had a plan of action. I never had a reason to why I was getting up and walking. I just randomly got up and started walking. So it's very important that if you want to be successful, if you want to make sure that every day you're living your life on purpose and doing something productive, then you must have a goal in mind. Why am I here on earth? What is my purpose? Every day, what do I want to do? How can I be productive? How can I make sure that I'm living to my full potential? Potential is your ability. It's your ability that you haven't yet tapped into. So your goal should be to release your potential. And if that is your goal, then how are you going to release your potential? So, for example, a few years ago, I said I wanted to become a motivational speaker, and I came to that conclusion because I love to speak. I love to empower people, I love to share my experiences, and I just love to help people move from A to B. And I also realised that I was a good communicator. I was able to speak to people, engage people, and communicate a point for them to be able to get it and take action. So when I decided I wanted to be a motivational speaker, I had to think, okay, this is my goal. I want to become an international motivational speaker. That was the end goal. And I wanted to achieve that within that same year. So it was specific, as in I wanted to become an international motivational speaker within that same year, which was in 2008. My next thought or plan of action was how. So every time you have a goal, ask yourself how. Don't think, oh, it's impossible. Ask yourself how. Become a person that always asks themselves, how can I? Not can I, but how can I? Okay? So what I decided to do was, I looked in my network and I looked at the different people who were doing what I wanted to do, and I connected with them. Because it's very important that if you can connect with people who are already doing what you're doing, it speeds up your journey and you can cut out some of the mistakes that they've made. So I then thought, okay, I want to become an international motivational speaker by this year. My next thing was that I connected with people who were already doing it. So then I then had to find their contact details. I then had to make the phone call. I then had to ask, is it okay if I follow you around? So I thought of all of these things, all of the different steps that I would have to take in order to see that goal come to pass. So I contacted the people, I followed them around, I started to understand what motivational speaking was all about. So it's very important that when you have a goal, research what it is that you're going into. If you have a goal to set up a business, research it. Is there a gap in the market for your business? Is someone already doing your business? What is going to be your USP, your unique selling point? So all of these things are things that you must think of once you have a goal and you ask yourself how. The next thing is to write it down. A lot of the time people have an idea, And then within a few seconds, they forget that idea because they don't write it down. So, have your goal, ask yourself how, and get ready with your pen and your paper and write it down. When I had the idea to write my first book, which was an inspirational book that I wanted to use to inspire young people, the moment I thought, okay, I have an idea for a book and I want to use a story of role models, my next question was, how am I going to make it happen? Who am I going to speak to? Who's going to be my role models? Who's going to read my book? Are they going to be in this country, in another country? What age are they going to be? Do young people read books? So I had to ask myself a lot of questions. And through those questions, I was able to finalise what my plan of action would be. And then I was able to also define what my goal would be as well. And the purpose of the whole book. The book was to inspire young people aged 13 up to 21 to believe that they can be whoever they want to be. Okay? Then I went looking for role models that could tie in with that vision, where they had believed that they could make it, where they chose not to make excuses and, were now living a life of fulfillment, of achievement. Okay? So my first tip to being successful is have a goal. Have a plan of action. Define your goal. Make it clear. Make it concise. Make it as specific as possible, and then break it down into manageable pieces. If you were to have a big cake placed in front of you, you look at the cake and think, okay, might be impossible, or it's going to be very difficult for me to eat it in one go unless you have a really big mouth, okay? So then what you would then do is take your knife and you would start to cut the cake up into sections. And you would cut them up into pieces that are manageable for you to be able to take and eat. That's the same with goal setting. You have your big goal, and then you just take it and you break it down into manageable steps for you to do daily. Work on your goals daily. That's very, very important. Don't have the idea and then, give yourself a month or 2 months to take your first step. Do it immediately. That's how you overcome procrastination when it comes to goal setting. Do it immediately, okay? The moment you have the idea, write it down. Then at least find one thing that you can do immediately, that you can do that day, or if not that day, at least the next day. Because if you work on your goals daily, then you're going to be more engaged, more committed, more enthusiastic to actually seeing it through to the end. Whereas if you leave it, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the day after, then something else is going to come in the way, okay? So, in order to be successful, tip number 1, make sure you have a goal. And make sure you break it down into manageable pieces that you know that you can do daily. Thank you.